Hey everyone. So this is gold from yesterday. Now, what I wanted to talk about was how I formulated the trade and what I was looking at. So right now we're on the 4 hour time frame, and basically what I'm looking at is a bullish order flow. And if the bullish order flow is to continue on the 4 hour, then I know this high needs to go. Um, with that being said, the daily on the gold is obviously bearish. So whether or not the trend continues is up in the air. But as of right now, the 4 hour is bullish. So I am going to continue with that order flow till it stops. So if we just look at the 15 minute, what we had here was basically a bunch of liquidity was created. It was all taken. Had a bunch of more liquidity. Taken again. Now, once we took these highs, gold went back to bullish order flow. It's a horrible arrow, but that's supposed to be an arrow. That was not much better. But anyway, the bullish order flow resumed. I don't love this for structure. It's not the greatest pullback, but I'm going to consider it structure. So just looking at this, my expectation is that this high is weak and will likely be run. The reason this high is weak is we are bullish on the 4 hour and the 15 minute. And unless this high takes a run at least this low at a bare minimum, it's considered weak. So the way price acted here is basically kind of told us the story of what's to happen. So here we see a strong impulse. Now if we look at the size of the candle, we can quickly tell that the size of this bullish candle, the size of this bullish candle and the previous one basically engulfs like 5 of these, 6 of these. And what that's showing us is bullish intentions, and maybe there's a narrative to run this high. Now if we scoot over to the 1 minute side of things, this is us tapped into this zone here. And I just kind of want to show you how I built this trade idea on the 1 minute with the 4 hour and the 15 minute time frame. So we'll just scoot over to the 1 minute for now. Also, by the way, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, definitely do. There will be more educational videos coming and more trade recaps. So, as of right now, what we're looking at is essentially we have gold that's kind of going up. Now, you didn't really have much of an interaction here. What I like to see is an interaction between buyers and sellers. We didn't really have one here. We had a range that formed, and essentially what happened is this range basically just blew through this supply. So we have a flip zone that created, and the flip zone to me would be this little range. Now this is a rather tight range for gold, which is quite nice. I don't even know if I took this whole wick. It might have even been smaller than that. I know the trade ran 9R and I closed 70% of it, and so it's like I ended up getting like a total of 7R, which is not bad for gold. So now, if we go back to the 15 minute, what I told you was we expected to, I expected to run this high, and it's exactly what gold did. So if we just play price forward, the high gets run, and quickly we get the rejection wick, and we also get momentum to the downside. Now with gold, that doesn't necessarily mean a momentum change. So at this point, however, I'll get to that in a sec and we can discuss that in detail. What gold ends up doing here is coming down really aggressively. I put an order on this. When I see price coming down like that towards me really aggressively, it used to really bother me, but with gold, it does not. At this point, we're still bullish, and unless market structure gets broken, my expectation is that we continue bullish. So, end up entering on the 25%, and I don't even think I covered this wick. I might have. I remember there was a 9R. Oh, so I must have covered that wick then. Some. That's not like me, but I'll take it. Yeah, so somewhere around here. And so my expectation is basically to now run this high because we're still bullish. So the whole trade idea was based on that. And what ended up happening is we got multiple taps. Now, the way I manage gold is I don't take partials or break even, or for those of you that follow me, you know a lot of times on EU and GU, if the stop's small, I'll partial out 20% at 4R. With gold, soon as this gets, not what I wanted, with gold, soon as this gets taken, I just move stop loss rate to break even, and I leave full volume. For a short trade like this, I leave full volume. Even right now, I'm holding full volume on gold. If I was shooting for the sky, I would obviously take partials, let the rest run. I didn't really like what I seen when I seen gold coming up here. So my initial target was actually here. And I was going to leave partials and let it run. What ended up happening was when we ended up coming up here, I didn't like the way gold was acting. So I ended up closing a little more than I was planning on, which was 70% of the trade. And I'm glad I did. So right around here, I think I closed 70% of the trade. 70% of my lot size, and that yielded roughly 7.2 R or something, which is again decent for gold. I left the rest on to see if it would at least make it to this supply zone. It didn't happen for me that way, unfortunately, and gold actually came down really aggressively. So now, if we actually go and analyze this, look at the size of the bearish candle. Now, that's not the end of the world because gold is just an aggressive pair and I'm used to that. But what I want to show you is what it does the second time it goes up there. And I want to note that there really isn't any liquidity here anymore. So there shouldn't be another wick like that. So the fact that there's another long wick is, to me, is BFI presence. Again, you get another engulfing candle. So at this point, this becomes a short opportunity. I didn't catch the short. I was busy trading euro at this point, which is totally fine. But the short was rather clean. And I think here, so another way of looking at the market is looking at failed reactions. So this right now is a failed reaction because it did not take that. So this low now becomes weak. We just play price on. We just had another failed reaction, and we actually had a change of character. And it's not like the greatest change of character, but it's some sort of change of character. Paired with the multiple failed reactions and the continuous lows with the wick rejections on a 15 and the momentum of the downward momentum, I should say, you could start formulating a trade idea and executing from this point, as this ultimately caused this point to fail. And at this point, demand was still somewhat in control because we haven't fully failed yet. Like, this could have just been a liquidity grab. We could have just been mitigating this wick. I ended up breaking even on the little remainder I had left, which is totally fine. But what ended up happening was gold continuously showed going on down. I believe it did give you a chance to get in. So there's your short opportunity. I didn't catch that. Like I said, I was busy playing on euro at this point. But again, the trade would have looked something like this had I got in this. And to me, again, it's a relatively small stop for gold. You probably take a little more even. So if we go back to the 15-minute now, what you could say we have is a weak low. And this idea comes from failure to close above this. If you look, we wicked twice. So not only are these wicks a strong rejection, but we didn't actually get a body close above here. So now we can start forming the idea that this is weak, and at a bare minimum run that. So if we look at it that way, it's not a huge trade by any means, and this is counter trend. I would have probably held this into 5R because there's just no point taking a trade unless it's 5R minimum. And if we're going to be honest, I probably wouldn't have covered that. Even gold spread's bad. But I would have taken, you know, good 60-70% here and let the rest ride. So this is how you could have got involved in the short side of things. Now, catching up with today's PA, and actually bought gold again, and it was actually sitting at 8R earlier today, and I didn't take any profit, so I'm still kind of waiting for the higher time frame narrative to play out. The trade's risk-free. Whether or not it plays out is a whole other question. If we just look at it here, this will probably take a while. Let's actually just go to 15 here, and we'll just play that on the 15. Is that 15? Well, it's not. It's a little faster. Anyway, so this is the trade I'm currently in on the 15. I'm still holding full volume, break even, so I'm hoping it does go to target. We'll see what it does here. If not, I'll break even on it, which is totally fine. But the idea on this one was the exact same too. We're obviously very bullish. We made a new high. We took these highs, so now my expectation is for these highs to go, and hopefully they do. If they don't, that's fine. But yeah, the narrative was pretty much the same as the trade I just showed you. Again, we have willingness to go up. It's kind of hard to see this on the 1 minute, but this wick is a form of a supply. This caused a break. I actually found it on the 30-second here, and on the 30-second what we have is a flip zone. So you have a supply, this area kind of reacted to it and took it out at the same time. So I ended up building a trade idea off of that. Like I said, it was sitting at 8R when it came into this supply. I looked at it, I just chose to hold full volume. Not sure if that was a smart idea, but we'll find out. But again, the narrative stays the same. Higher time frame intentions, and ultimately we're just looking to run highs. And if this continues on up, then I'll be looking to run that 4-hour high. But being that this is gold and a volatile pair and it has a personality, anything can happen. So that's why I break even on it as quick as possible. But yeah, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, definitely do. We'll cut this video here, and I'll see you guys soon.